Many folks pass at 70 miles an hour, snubbing its swampy, unkempt exterior. But near this southern stretch of the Tamiami Trail, hidden in the heart of the Everglades, is a secret those harried travelers may never know.
It's not those big things that jump out and grab you like the Grand Canyon. Everything out here is very subtle, very small. It's a subtle beauty.
$720,000 acres of subtle beauty, embraced by wetlands, sawgrass, sprawling cypress hammocks. The area known as Big Cypress National Preserve, a more reserved national park than its mountainous and cavernous sisters.
Here you've got ferns, you've got orchids, you've got bromeliads, you've got ponds, you've got swamp apples, you've got potash trees. You got all these different things and growing in all different directions. And it's just, you can tell it's worked, nature has worked it out. Nice light.
Its unpretentious nature is the reason photographer Clyde Butcher calls it home.
It's so important to actually connect with the swamp. You can go in an airboat, you can go in a swamp buggy, but unless you're physically connected to it, you just don't get it.
So once a year, on Labor Day weekend, Clyde and his wife Nikki welcome visitors to their wild backyard to get to know the swamp from the inside out.
Atlas Financial, Bruce Howard Insurance. Can I help you?
This would be Jan McSween's first time, but sitting at her orderly desk, the idea of sloshing around in a place where gators and snakes have home field advantage seems crazy.
I'm a little anxious. I've told the guys here that I think I'm going to buy some hip waders because I just don't like the idea of putting my foot down on something that I can't see. And they've all laughed at me and said that that's not necessary.
She and a troop of work colleagues are making the trek 3 hours south to Big Cypress, expecting the unexpected.
I think this is going to give us an opportunity to see each other on a completely different level. The professionalism, the suits, the ties, everything, they're going to be left behind. We're going to be slogging around in old sneakers up in mud and muck, and I'm really curious to see what, the colors that actually show.
Real colors are what artist Russell Woody hopes to find.
I used to do very realistic work, and it became pretty boring.
Here in his Nokomis studio, Russell prepares for this, his third swamp walk. Over the years, he's taken dozens of photographs, but has yet to capture the essence of the Everglades on canvas.
Sometimes you can do a painting in a day, and it's perfect. And the next time, it'll take 2 years to do. I've worked on some paintings for 2 years. I'm painting concept and feeling and idea as opposed to literally translating it into an idealized version of an image.
Will Muckabout number 3 be a charm?
It's wonderful.
Basically, less than 1% of the people who have ever seen the Everglades see it in a way that we're about to see it.
So what are you expecting? Are you nervous?
Park rangers and volunteers are the driving force behind a successful swamp walk.
It's very different here. It's a very subtle beauty here. And the only possible way you can learn to appreciate it is get out in it like you're going to do today.
It's Bill Lewis's 4th year as a volunteer guide. Each year he travels from Sarasota to pay homage to Big Cypress.
The human disturbances have been limited and mitigated, and so you can, the ahas you get at the Grand Canyon, the oh wows at Glacier National Park, you get here in Big Cypress, but it takes a sensitive person, someone who appreciates the subtleties of what the creation is here and the way it all plays together.
How many people is this the first time to go out on a wow?
Wow.
Okay.
Under the canopy, titles, formalities, and suit jackets are quickly lost. For Jan McSween, this is the clean slate on which to write.
I'd say we start our journey. What do you think? Let's go.
As the water rises, fear and anxiety quickly dissolve. That's the swamp's specialty.
I absolutely love it. It is it's nothing I've ever done. Believe me. Look at this. This is just fabulous.
Soon, Russell Woody is reminded why he keeps coming back.
Great. Absolutely great.
This is, I think, what most people think of as a swamp. Only they think that this is going to be black, dirty water. And I don't know if you can see right up ahead of me, but you can actually see the bottom, you can see the leaves.
Park Ranger Lisa Andrews has given hundreds of swamp tours.
This is so pretty in here, isn't it?
None taken for granted.
Gosh, this is beautiful.
All around, nature's understated beauty is overwhelming.
Yeah, right here, these are the eggs from the apple snail. And they lay these little clusters of eggs. They're an aquatic snail, so they have to come out of the water and climb up this leaf and lay their cluster of eggs above the water line. Summer. Pretty close. Because if it does rain, it's really beautiful out here because all the little droplets stay on the cypress needles, and it just looks like little diamonds throughout the swamp. It's really pretty. This is all fresh rainwater that falls here and to the north of us, and is flowing southwesterly down to meet the Gulf of Mexico in the mangrove estuary below. Here in kind of a mixed prairie, a lot of sawgrass, other grasses and sedges out here, and we've got these short little trees. A lot of people think these are young trees, but they could be just as old as the big ones that we're going to go into in just a minute. Let's head into the bigger bald cypress strand.
In Big Cypress, diverse ecosystems coexist as next-door neighbors.
It's getting a lot deeper. You feel how much more cool the water is up here. The trees are getting bigger.
Tiny treasures hidden in plain sight, if you choose to see.
A little tree frog.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. You can see how many things we're walking by and we don't see. And unless you really get into it like we're doing today and get wet, get out here in the middle of the swamp, you can't really appreciate what's out here. You see, we're kind of in the middle of a dome here. See, it's cleared in there, and you see deeper water, kind of a little pond in there. Everything will come there for food and water, and that'll be just like a smorgasbord for the alligator.
But on this day, visitors are not part of the menu.
With a group like this, they hear you coming, they feel these ripples on the water, and they don't want anything to do with 20 pairs of feet coming at them.
An hour later, the return to limited civilization. Fear replaced with exhilaration. Mystery with marvel.
We have people come out here that are paranoid and scared. They come out smiling on the other end. I mean, you can't tell me how many happy faces you see. So that's given them a connection with Florida that they'll never get any other place.
The journey gives Jan new perspective to take home and reflect upon.
Water walking
Incredible.
graduates.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God, that was just phenomenal. It was like, I said to Charlie, you almost expect to look over and see a brontosaurus it's just so primordial and peaceful. He had us do like a silent section of walking, and all you could hear were your footsteps. And then when you really got into how much noise you were making, everybody like really got quiet with their moving, and you could just hear. It felt like it was alive around you. Oh, it's fabulous. It's just fabulous.
For Russell, another welcome baptism by nature.
When you're immersed in the water and in the whole swamp, it is completely different. It really is. It's, you know, I was said one time that people say, okay, I've been to the swamp, that's it, been there, done that. It's not that way at all.
That's not a Boston.
Different people from different walks of life sharing one man's passionate walk of life.
I want them to walk away with the feeling that Florida is special, that this maybe is the most beautiful place on earth they've ever seen, that it's important to say because it's, when you go back here, it's like being back with the dinosaurs. I mean, this is one of the few areas in Florida that's still primitive. And when I can tell a primitive area when it's very chaotic. When you see something chaotic, it's usually biologically correct. If you see something that's really organized, you know man's been there messing around. So this gives them a feeling of the chaos that is the natural part of Florida.
Jan McSween, upon returning from her swamp experience, wrote this.
Dear Journal, having returned to the grind of everyday employment, I catch myself repeatedly drifting back to our swamp slog last Saturday. I've relived the experience over and over, trying to recapture the way it made me feel, and I know I must try to put into words the impact that brief encounter has had on me. Within seconds of stepping into the water, I became calm and felt, more than heard, the quiet that ruled this environment. I was being stripped of the persona I had created for myself, the facade I project at work and with friends and family. I was someone else now, and I knew instinctively that this new me was the real, natural me. I felt accepted, no more or less important than the cypress I was passing or the water through which I waded. I was merely another element that belonged here. And in that acceptance, I understood that it was not on my terms. There was something much greater offering me acceptance on its terms. Call it the spirit of the swamp or nature herself. Her message in the quietude was simple. Witness me, be part of me, protect me. It was nature's golden rule made tangible. Treat me as you wish for me to treat you. I'll return each Labor Day to take part in this extraordinary opportunity to strip down to me. If only everyone did the same, perhaps we wouldn't need to fight so hard for that which ultimately will sustain us.